And we are live in...
Yes. So
we're live.
So hello and welcome to the WAIN 21, the first workshop of AI engineering, software engineering for AI. My name is Ivica Srinkovic. I'm one of the organizers.
And I'm Lucy Lwakatare, also an organizer.
And of course, I'm Jan Bosch, and guess what? I'm also an organizer.
Helena Holmström Olsson, following the others, an organizer of the workshop.
Yes, and we also have David, who is a web master. But what is the focus and the aim of the workshop? You know, the title is Software Engineering for AI-enabled systems. So it's software engineering for AI systems, is not AI for software engineering. So that's important to know this difference. But the purpose of this workshop is to bring together researchers and practitioners, so that's one thing. And the other thing is to bring together software engineers and data scientists and AI engineers to see how to meet the challenges when you develop software and software-intensive systems which contain AI functionality. We call such systems AI-enabled systems. Next slide, please. Yes, and we have like a great program committee, 28 people in total. And we have here people, both experts from industry. You can see them in blue color. And in dark blue, people from academia. So it's a nice mix from academia and industry. And also a nice mix from data and AI experts and, of course, software engineering experts, which we are, all of us here at ICSI, of course. And maybe you know, but maybe not all of you, you don't know what is special with the review with this workshop and this year. We had the open peer review, which is quite the opposite from the double blind. So the reviewers knows who are the authors, but authors knows who are the reviewers. And we ask both authors and reviewers, is it okay to run this open session? And everybody agreed. Everybody was actually quite positive. So we start with that. And the result was good. So the reviews were of equal high quality, but that depends, of course, of the people, you know, of the reviewers. Maybe the reviewers were slightly more polite, maybe having more empathy, but otherwise we have not seen like big differences in the reviews if comparing, for example, to double blind. So also we asked about the reactions, and people were positive. Some people added that it would be very good that these communications between the reviewers and authors can be utilized in a better way. So we think first, the next year, of course, we think to run this next year. We intend to have an open review and also add additional moments like rebuttal phase. Why this open review? You know that there are other communities, in particular AI communities, which are using open review for many years. That's relatively new in software engineering community. So it's interesting to start to see how does it work and maybe build up this culture. And about the papers, so in total we got 35 papers. I think that was after rejection of some papers rejected as desk rejection because they actually wrote about AI for software engineering. That was a typical example. Anyhow, of these 35 papers, we had 10 papers selected as full papers, 12 papers as short papers, and we will have 4 papers as position paper, which also will be presented on this workshop. And here you can see some terms which are like mentioned more often than others. Of course, machine learning and software systems, but you can see trustworthy, enabled system, and so on. And related to that, our program, the idea is with program that we have a high interactive program, highly interactive. So we have, you can see here like different categories, but we have 2 keynotes, we have 2 panels, we have 7 presentation sessions. In total, there will be 26 presentations, and we will have interactive sessions, speed dating, now running remotely, trying to use this possibility to run virtually when we cannot run physically. And we hope that this will work. You know, it's a new, this video system is new. It's the first time we have such setup, and we had this morning 88 registrations, which is quite a number for the first workshop. So we really hope that these interactive sessions will be really interactive, and we'll have wild discussions, not wild, but lively discussions. And also that will bring some additional moment in this workshop.
So I'll take. Yeah, thank you very much. A little bit more about the program. As Ivica already mentioned, we have 2 keynote speakers. We're really happy about them. The first one I will not say so much about because Lionel will be giving his keynote in about 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and will be kicked off the air at that time as well. So the first keynote is an academic keynote by Lionel, who will be talking about trustworthy machine learning enabled systems, which we're really excited about and looking forward to. And if you go to the next slide, Lucy, tomorrow we'll have our industry keynote. We're really trying to hit that balance between, on the one hand, the academic research, and on the other hand, the industrial engineering practice. And I'm really happy that someone that I've been working with for the last maybe year and a half or so, Errol Koolmeister, who is heading engineering AI at H&M, has agreed to do the keynote tomorrow during the program. You can find it in the program. And for those of you that, I think everyone knows H&M, and think of H&M as a clothing company, which it of course is. I mean, their motto basically is democratizing a fashion. They have also really invested in using artificial intelligence to improve their business processes. And I think that if you have one talk that you want to listen to tomorrow, this is absolutely the one, because he will talk a lot about how H&M is rebuilding itself and becoming increasingly successful around through the use of AI. The next slide is about panels. There will be 2 panels, as Ivica already alluded to. I will be running the research and academic panel, and I saw that some of my panelists are already in the audience, as well as quite a few other names that I saw. I'm really excited about that. Here the purpose is really to discuss from an academic research perspective what we consider to be the key challenges. You may know that between Ivica, Helena, and myself, we published a research agenda for AI engineering that you can find on ArXiv. It's also published as a book chapter that I will be using in part as a basis for the discussion as well. Because what we're trying to do is to really set the scene and scope the research challenges around what we call AI engineering, or software engineering for AI-enabled systems.
And so the industry panel tomorrow as well, it will be my privilege to welcome you to that one. And so here we focus more on the industrial challenges. So what is required to build AI systems? What is the challenge, or the challenges also with moving more from the prototyping stage towards actual deployment of these systems? And we will also discuss the key challenges, the areas that we as a community need to focus on in order to advance and move further in this area. So I am very happy, we are very happy to have 4 panelists. We have Alexander Fabian, a data scientist from Microsoft in Seattle. We have Björn Brinne, Chief AI Officer from Peltarion, Stockholm, Sweden. We have Roland Weiss, Head of R&D and Technology for Process Automation and Process Control Platforms from ABB in Mannheim in Germany. And then we have Elena Feschman, Director AI Research at Ericsson, as well as Professor of Cyber-Physical Systems at KTH in Stockholm, Sweden. So most welcome the panelists and all of you for tomorrow's industry panel. And then, as Ivica mentioned in the very beginning, we have presentation sessions, and you see them here on the screen. So we have full papers, we have short papers, we also have position papers, 26 in total, and they will run today and tomorrow, so most welcome.
Oh yeah, so we hope that you also have opportunity to interact with other participants, and so we have these social events, which we call them speed dating. And the plan, whenever you see a speed dating session, is that you will be in a room together with other participants, so 3 at most, and you get to know each other in the first speed dating. So you introduce to one another, and then in the following sessions of speed dating, you will be having some leading questions, and we have a form which will share the link. And you share some of your discussions in that form, and hopefully we are able to have this ambition where we can collect the notes that you will be jotting down and maybe publish them in Software Engineering Notes. But one thing is we are still learning how this part of the program works. But we have a chat in your interface. You should be able to see a chat page where we will share the link when you need to press so that you can be in a queue for speed dating rooms. But also the questions will be shared there as well. So please be looking at the chat sessions to know where you should be. We will be updating that part.
And then finally, Lionel is live in 2 minutes. I really, on behalf of all the organizers, would like to really welcome you to this event. We really think that this is a very important evolution of the software engineering research domain. Someone posted the link to the AI engineering research agenda that I alluded to in the chat for those of you that are interested in it. But what we really see happen is traditional software engineering was very much around specifications and requirements and then building according to specification and requirements. What we now see is a fundamental shift where software engineering and software development is more and more concerned with exploratory ways of working, such as A/B testing, where you're trying to optimize specific outcomes, as well as AI-centric ways of working, which is really I think a new way of looking at systems, because rather than us algorithmically programming the systems, we are moving towards a model where we are basically using data to train models, integrate those models in our systems, and really make sure that things are working properly. And what we see in the Software Center that most of us are involved in, which is a collaboration between 16 companies and 5 universities, is that there is a lot of prototyping and experimentation going on, but many companies fall short of industrial production strength deployment of AI systems. And that's one of the key topics that we believe the software engineering community can bring to the software intensive industry, as well as to society at large, because AI will not be successful if it cannot actually be deployed and put in operation. Now, with that, we have 20 seconds left before we go off the air. And I think that I'll leave it here. Please stay on the line. The next area in your program you should be able to find, which is the keynote session where Lionel Briand will talk about trustworthy AI-intensive systems. Thank you all very much for joining the opening session.